What are my biggest questions for the Cleveland Browns going into the 2019 NFL season? Make sure to stick around and stay tuned to find out. What's up, everybody? It's JT Sports Max, you guys, with another video. In this video, I'm here with my biggest questions about the Cleveland Browns going into the 2019 NFL season. Now, before I begin, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I upload NFL videos, NFL content daily. I also have a weekly call-in show every Sunday afternoon at 6 p.m. Eastern Time that people are allowed to call in, and we just talk about the things that's going on in the NFL. People, they can disagree with me about their teams, because I know a lot of people, I get a lot of hate comments, a lot of people calling me idiots and stuff like that for my predictions and stuff like that. So I really like the call-in show, and if you guys are a fan and like things like that, make sure to subscribe to the channel and check that out. Like I said, every Sunday afternoon, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So, also make sure to check out my social media pages. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. It is JTSports_. The link to my Instagram page will be down in the description down below. And also make sure to follow me on Twitter. My Twitter name is the same thing as my Instagram name, JTSports_. Link to my Twitter is down in the description down below if you guys want to check that out. So the Cleveland Browns, a lot of improvement over the offseason. A few seasons ago, they were just 0-16. And then, boom, this happened. So they blockbuster offseason, got Odell, got Olivier Vernon. They did a lot this offseason. So they have very high expectations. And Vegas has them, last time I checked the odds, Vegas said that they have the 6th best chance of winning the Super Bowl this year, according to Vegas, last time I checked it. So, my first question for the Cleveland Browns: how good is Freddie Kitchens going to be in his first year? Now, normally, every first-year head coach, you know, they have question marks, and it's easy to be skeptical about these guys. Freddie Kitchens, I'm skeptical about him. How good of a coach he's going to be able to be? He might be a good X's and O's guy, but I think Freddie Kitchens probably has the hardest first-year job as a first-year head coach I've seen in a very long time. This guy has a very talented roster, and it's very hard being a first-year head coach when you're going into an organization that has acquired a lot of talent, and you got to piece that talent together, find out roles for that talent, and then get the personalities to mesh. And the reason why I say this might be one of the hardest first-year head coaching jobs I have seen in a very, very long time is because he has Odell Beckham, he has Jarvis Landry, 2 personalities. Those are 2 high-maintenance personalities. Then you got Baker Mayfield. We already know. We don't even need a description or explanation on how big of a personality Baker Mayfield has. Baker Mayfield is a character, and I love Baker Mayfield, but he has a personality. So you got to get all these personalities to come together to win games. And that's very, very hard. And the best teams don't win the Super Bowl. LA Rams, they had an offseason similar to what Cleveland had this offseason. Got in Dominican Sue, got Brandon Cooks, got all these guys. And then when they came to the Super Bowl, on paper, they looked like paper favorites. They looked like they were going to beat the New England Patriots on paper. And then when the Super Bowl came, New England held them to 3 points. So the best teams don't always win the Super Bowl. So with Freddie Kitchens, not only does he have to manage the X's and O's aspect of the Browns, but he has to manage these personalities, getting these players to be okay with their roles. And that's a tough task for any first-year head coach. So that's why Freddie Kitchens is one of my 5 biggest questions for the Cleveland Browns this offseason. Question number 2, Baker Mayfield. How good is Baker Mayfield going to be going into year 2 of his NFL career? His rookie season was phenomenal. Colin Cowherd didn't know what he was talking about. Baker Mayfield was better than the thick, trunky, blue-collar coastal kid, Sam Darnold, and he outplayed him. Now we're going into year 2. Expectations increase. The Cleveland Browns are expecting to make it to the playoffs. So how will Baker Mayfield handle those expectations in year 2? Or can he live up to those expectations? Now, my expectations is an MVP caliber season. He might not have to win MVP, but I'm expecting MVP caliber numbers from Baker Mayfield in 2019. And I don't really think I need to give an explanation why, but I'm just going to go ahead and give one anyway. Have Odell Beckham, top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. You got Jarvis Landry, top 10, maybe outside looking in, top 10 wide receiver. I think he's a top 10 wide receiver in my opinion. Got 2 of the best wide receivers in the game on the same roster, on the same offense, and they're going to be fully healthy. So anytime you have 2 electric wide receivers on your team, you should be able to put up big numbers. And I'm expecting big numbers out of Baker Mayfield this season. But it's not even about my expectations. How good would he be in year 2? And can he live up to expectations? That's my second question about Baker Mayfield in year 2. Question number 3. Chemistry. I'm just talking about chemistry as a whole. And I'm going to refer back to what I said about the whole Freddie Kitchens thing. Freddie Kitchens has a tough task as a first-year head coach. Because he has to balance out all this talent. And you got to get these players to you got to give these players roles. And they have to be okay with that. Some of these players, they might have to sacrifice something, like Odell Beckham might have to sacrifice the amount of targets that he was getting at when he was playing for the Giants. He's not going to get as many targets like how he got the New York Giants because Jarvis Landry is going to be there as well. Then you're going to have Kareem Hunt. Then you're going to have Nick Chubb. So, of course, you're going to have to feed those guys the ball as well. So, it's going to be interesting. The chemistry of this Cleveland Browns team. And chemistry means a lot in football. A lot of people think about chemistry and when it comes to basketball. But chemistry means a lot in the NFL as well. Getting all your teammates, having all the players comfortable with each other, trusting one another, and holding each other up to a standard to do their job. That's what I like about Baker Mayfield. When he called that dude Johnson, a lot of people may not have agreed with it, but I liked it. I don't think there's nothing wrong with holding people accountable. Now, maybe people might be like, the way he went about it was wrong, but it's being accountable. You're here. Do what you get paid to do, man. That's why I like Baker Mayfield. And then it's just the Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry situation. We already know these guys are super competitive. So how are these 2 guys going to react if they're not getting a certain amount of targets and stuff like that? So I think chemistry is one of my biggest questions for the Cleveland Browns going into the 2019 NFL season. Question number 4. The defense. The defense is really, really improved on paper. It looks really, really good. They got Demarius Randall, you got Denzel Ward, you got Greedy Williams, who I thought was still the draft. That he was an absolute steal. Greedy Williams reminds me, he's literally like an exact clone of Denzel Ward. Literally, with the same strengths and similar weaknesses. The question about Denzel Ward coming into the draft in 2018 was, can he be a okay tackler? Greedy Williams, things about Greedy Williams, same thing. Can he be a okay tackler? Kind of scrawny in frame when they first came into the NFL draft, had to bulk up a little bit in the weight room. So they both had similar strengths and weaknesses. I think Greedy Williams was the biggest steal of this year's draft. They got Myles Garrett and Olivier Vernon. That is freaking scary. That is scary. Now, Olivier Vernon, for those of you guys who don't know, I thought Olivier Vernon, when he was playing for the New York Giants, was a little bit overrated. Only had 1 double-digit sack season. Now with the Cleveland Browns, now he has Myles Garrett on the other side of him. You have 2 Pro Bowl pass rushers on the same team on the opposite side of each other. So I'm excited about that. I'm very excited about this Cleveland Browns defense. But how good are they going to play? You may look at this team on paper and be like, this looks like it could be a top 10 defense. But will it live up to be a top 10 defense? That's one of my biggest questions. And my last question for the Cleveland Browns, question number 5. This is something that you guys can just go ahead and comment down in the comment section. What are the expectations for the Cleveland Browns, Cleveland Brown fans, or anybody? You don't have to be a Browns fan, but what are your expectations for the Cleveland Browns? What would be a season for the Cleveland Browns that you guys can look back on and be like, you know what? I'm proud of this season that we had. And I'm not saying, and I'm talking about besides the Super Bowl. Everybody knows that you make it to the Super Bowl, you can be proud of that, win or lose. But I'm talking about if you guys don't make the Super Bowl. What's your expectations for something you can look back at this season and be like, I'm proud of it? Like, for example, let's say Cleveland makes the playoffs and they lose in the divisional round. Cleveland Browns fans can look back at that and they can be like, you know what? I'm proud of the season that we had. So what are the expectations that you guys have for the Cleveland Browns? Let me know what you guys think. What are your expectations for the Cleveland Browns going into the 2019 season? Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.